Today is March 5th, 2023. Last night I was talking to my neighbor Mike. He had got roofied in a bar a little over a year ago. And he said, he said so much of that night is a blur. He said, he said, I had a hard time even thinking up to a week later. I said, I know, at least you messed up of concentrating. And he said, I wasn't even right I said, I know. And I was telling him about some of the things about that Eric confessing and how these people took a shower scene in the other room and where they kicked in my door. And he said, a shower scene. He said, do you realize, and da-da-da-da-da, and we're talking. And I said, I know. And I told him about Dave's girlfriend, Michelle, making fun of me in the sweater thing where I was on the toilet peeing and then standing up and, go to flush it. And I go to, my sleeve falls down, I push it back up. And I'm OCD off the chart. Most people just wash their hands and arms and go on. I said, but I took my sweater off. Washed my hands and arms and went and put a different sweater on. I said, I go to Faith Family Church. Her and her friends don't sit by her. She had a peace sweater on. His eyes got great big. He said, I had a girlfriend. He said she set up 2 little teddy cam bears. He said, we had sex. He said, and she videotaped the whole thing and then sold it on a porn site and made $50,000, bought herself all kinds of stuff. He said, I didn't know about it until she told me. Do you realize with them selling a real rape, a real torture, real human traffic, real nude shots of me, how many millions of dollars they've made? On porn sites. March 1st, 2023, I'm in Walmart 62 by the nail polish, okay? And I check out at 11:45 p.m. A lady comes up and said, they said I could watch her with her having that head injury where Judge Pete's son admitted to bashing me in the back of the skull and hold me down while they assaulted me and left his coma on Dave's dresser on 12/21/18 in protective custody. And she's like, I didn't know they were taking the case's money and using it for human trafficking. I don't want any part of it. And she starts speaking like French or Italian and walks off. They have cameras that say recording in the nail aisles. They have it. A confession that they're using the case's money for. See, I was in there the first and the second. I think I was there in the second, but it was the first. March 1st, 11:45 a.m. I check out about 15 minutes before. Oh, Friday. I went to go out to eat with someone. And I had went to see my grandkids before that. Stopped at a gas station to get some gum. And outside some guys were talking. We know she don't know what's going on. He said, some guy in Massillon's helping out in this. He said, do a group of us want to meet on 5th Street and talk to see if we want to take care of this ourselves? What would Massillon have to do with it? Seriously, what would Massillon have to do with it? Massillon never questioned me on wrongdoing. I lived in Perry Township. They would have had to have a Perry cop come talk to me if they thought I did something wrong before I moved, or subpoena me down to the courthouse because Stark County Courthouse was over my area. I lived in a township. I didn't live in Massillon, I only had a Massillon address. And they never did that, neither did the county. See, this whole thing's a scam. Oh, and I also got to thinking last night, some guy drove by, I didn't think about it before. Dave already probably knew Michelle and retired Judge Pete and Will before we moved up to Ravenna. Because my kidnapper showed up. After the money disappeared. Now, he's part of the big human trafficking scam. Even my house manager, Marlisa, her niece got taken by these bastards. She described my kidnapper, the van, the truck guys, the earbud people, They're all working as a team trying to grab people. Said they're human traffickers in this area from out of state. And the investigators said that they're all working together. Well, the 6,000 disappeared from the safe, and then the money they took up from the churches, they had already hired these people before we moved out of Perry. That means Dave already knew about Pete and Michelle and all that, because they were all in the big scam. Because they're part of the human trafficking people. Everybody tells people stop saying stuff to her, and those people are just taking the money and using it from the case and human trafficking people. They're using that as a big smoke screen. It's just a big smoke screen. Now I'm gonna go ahead and upload this, and I have a feeling, and I'm just gonna send it to the authorities. Last night, I'm sitting there thinking, I said, well, if it's this kind of people and this kind of people, I bet this one place is connected. Somebody screamed, some guy yelled, I didn't think about it before, and took off. Yeah. But, I bet. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and upload this, and, like I said, my package got delivered on Friday. You can't even tell anybody not to believe anybody and not to help them. Failure to protect is abuse and misconduct, like the Tuscarora sure said, to go to jail for that. The Madison police has never questioned me wrongdoing. Neither the Madison courthouse, nor the Perry, nor anybody. Not even the FBI. Nobody did. Nobody's questioned me wrongdoing. Matter of fact, that agent said to Mitch, no wrongdoing, and you take care of everything in the end. And he left me up there to die. And let these people abuse the hell out of me. And they act like that's why he badgered me on the phone, bullied me into false statements, knowing I had been drugged up, because they were the ones drugging me. And he, till I said what he wanted under a threat of arrest, threatened to have me arrested if I didn't say what he told me to say on a recorded line. How stupid is he? He goes to jail for that. Make me beg for my life. List me informant with money, the diplomatic community, and it is for life. And it says straight out that it's a witness in the witness protection program if they get out. It's their decision only. This whole thing's a scam. And then threatened me if I told he listed me crazy and no one to help me. He failure to protect us, abuse and misconduct. He couldn't even tell me he wouldn't. In the First Amendment, the government would like to imply that you can't say anything about something, and they can't. It's the First Amendment, of freedom of speech. Last year, some agent in a different state tried to pull the same thing, and you know what their response was? They got an attorney and sued the FBI. The press was eating them alive. Said, you know, if that higher law enforcement thinks that they can start telling people they can't say anything about anything, they need to shut it down. Because it is only a higher law enforcement agency. And they don't have a right to tell anybody they can't say anything about anything. It's a freedom of speech. The only one that tells you that they can't say anything is a sitting judge, sequestered juror, and grand jury. You have a freedom of speech to tell anybody who you want. I've also talked to other people in legal departments. And you can be in a witness protection program and tell anybody who you feel comfortable telling, and they can't open their mouth to you. See, I was a smoke screen, so I couldn't ask for help. Don't leave me helpless. And people are falling for his abuse and misconduct. He can get up to 79 years. He could get life, and if people have died, he can actually get executed for this. People need to realize how not funny this is. They're stealing children, women, little boys, little girls, and the marshals have been blowing the hell out of this. They have arrested over 1,000 people messed up in this. And people need to start turning them in everything that they got to start saving those little boys, those little girls' lives, and the women's lives. They had it the sheriffs in Florida, where the Florida judge was human trafficking too. The one guy I talked to, he said he had a friend on the local police department. They already knew about the Texas group messed up in this, and a Texas judge was messed up. And when they went to question him, he killed himself. And some other states judge and retired Judge Peace, Ohio, contact. It should have never went this far. People with very low IQs have been laughing at the victims. And where is it funny? They're stealing children and women. Do you know the sheriff said that they had they freed 10, 14 women working in massage parlors, making them sex traffic. And they had over 100 people watching them, so they'd be too scared to ask the authorities for help. Hello, welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. See, people need to realize how not funny this. They said they even found a group of little boys they had, and they freed them. My one friend that I had dinner with said that they found 35 women and children gagged and tied on a train, and they got them. And they're not releasing everything that they have because they are trying to get as many people as they can. But he lives 2 or 3 hours away, and their local police department knew of the protective custody case that agent opened. See, there's legal surveillance with those people caught dead on tape hurting me. And they're from Florida, from Texas, and then retired Judge Pete's family and friends. And they could get them all. And they could get a lot of really bad guys off the street. See, when these people make fun of me, when you make fun of me, you know what you're saying? You hate children. Do you know what you're saying? You hate women. Do you know what you're saying? You believe in human slavery and people should be sold for slaves. What you're saying is human trafficking is fine. Raping and torturing is fine. You know what you're saying? Embezzlement is fine of government funds. Do you know what you're saying? You're insane and you need to get some help. Because nothing you're saying is funny. This is the United States of America. Do you realize, what was it, North Korea, Vietnam War? They called them police actions because they were torturing people, raping them, and doing what these people were doing. You know what we did? We invaded their country. People didn't want, because our nation wasn't at threat. Why should we get involved in other people's countries? Because that's what our country did. And people were mad and they went to Canada, they didn't, and they would go, and if they could get them before they get there, they'd arrest them and send them out anyways. They put them in the draft. And we lost hundreds of thousands of our sons and daughters to free people from human slavery and being killed and murdered that we didn't know or owe. But our country detests stuff like that. People need to wake up and realize what they're supporting. Terrorist groups.